This is Spoiler Country, a podcast about comics, movies, whatever, but mostly comics. Enjoy.
Previously on Spoiler Country,
there's a lot out there, independent guys that are guys and gals that are sitting in their office, sitting in their garage, sitting in their car, sitting in their dining rooms, wherever.
sitting wherever.
Putting out some really cool content, some really original stuff that you might not be aware of. All right. Welcome back to Spoiler Country. I'm Kenric, and that's Johnny Horsley. And today on our show, it's the full interview with Sam Sedlack of Super Normal Podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had her on for the inaugural podcast Signal Boost episode, which was
PSB.
The PSB, which was just yesterday, because we're going to release this today.
Right. Because why not?
Friday, because why not? But her interview was fun, and it was so good. She had a lot to say that we actually had like 36. We actually had 36 minutes of content to get through. And she was a lot of fun. So it's like, well, let's release the whole thing and give people, because you might have been interested in what she was talking about. And then, I cut it off.
I listened to her on the PSP and I was like, man, this is a super, right when I got done, I went and listened to that episode that she talked about, the Life is a Drag one, like right afterwards.
Oh, really?
But it was really good. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, you liked it. That's cool.
Yeah, it was good. It was great.
Yeah, she's a pro, man, and I think more people should know about her, even if you don't agree with her like political views or her social commentary views. She does such a good job of just putting the information out there and allowing you to make a decision on how you want to feel about it.
Right.
That she's worth a listen or two, and really, she was just a lot of fun. She was a joy to have on.
Yeah, I look forward to having her back on for a full episode with both of us.
Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. So she's definitely going to be a friend of the show.
Absolutely.
Okay, without further ado, here's Sam in her own words.
Okay, so my name is Sam. I'm from Super Normal Podcast, and Super Normal is very hard for me to describe every time I try to, but Super Normal is a podcast about humans sharing their stories in hopes of showing who, as a human race, we collectively are. So in a world where social media kind of corners the market on communication, this podcast allows for a little bit of a deeper level connection through new insights and understandings. And what I really wanted to do was allow people to share the story of their maybe marginalized identity or their past experiences and past traumas, but from their perspective, as opposed to somebody writing about it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. It's kind of like, you ever watch Vice on YouTube?
Yeah.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of how they generally do their interviews, where it's not, let's just write about it and tell you how you should think. Let's go and talk to those people and show you their side, whether they agree with it or not.
Definitely.
And I like that.
Yeah. One thing that I try to do that I really dislike about Vice-like media, and it's no offense to you for comparing me to them, but something that they do and a lot of media companies do is kind of lead the witness with the questions they ask and come at interviews with preconceived notions. Like, it's not okay to ask a trans person if they still have a penis or if they now have a vagina. Like, you don't have to ask the questions that everyone always asks. And even Oprah, which I'm binging her podcast right now, is very good. It's very good, but she's still guilty of asking those kind of preconceived notion questions.
I don't know that I could ask a trans person,
hey, do you have a penis? Right.
I'd be like, oh, just so weird.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, they kind of always say, I don't ask you about your genitals, so.
Right. Yeah. And that's legitimate. Like, we have a person that comes on from time to time, and they don't like to be identified by gender.
Yeah, non-binary.
And it's so hard sometimes because biology is biology. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so it's like, if you're a girl, you're still a girl. If you're a guy, you're still a guy. But there's a level of respect for that person to make a decision that I want to adhere to, right? That they want to be identified as they, then I shouldn't have a problem saying they. Like, why should I care so much to say, well, you're you're a girl no matter what you think. You know what I mean?
Right.
It doesn't matter. It's because that's none of my business.
Yeah.
I don't have to live with what their conceived notions are and where they're going in life. So why should I care?
You know what I almost do that made it a lot easier for me to kind of grasp at the fact that like your genitals don't determine your gender identity was I call everyone they now. You know, like until they introduce themselves to me. I'm just like, oh, that person, yeah, they were an asshole. Or, you know, that person, I really like their dress.
Right.
Because it's almost like I did that a lot when I was younger. And people always said to me that was grammatically incorrect, which, fuck it, like, I guess it is. But, you know.
Hey, ain't's in the dictionary now.
Yeah, like I before E except after C and every other fucking word that I has become before E. Like none of the things in the English language fucking make sense. So you're going to get mad about this one thing that actually makes people happy as opposed to the stupid fucking, grammar rules that nobody can follow. So I was just like, fuck it, I'll call everybody they until I know what their pronoun is.
So we're doing, what's your pronoun, right? We're going through the whole thing where we're talking about them. And we both go, because me and my co-host will both say she, and we're like, fuck, now let's redo this, you know? Yeah. And we could totally ignore it and say, whatever, it is what it is. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, but, you know, we want to give that person the respect that they're due and that's what they want to be identified as.
Right.
So
I mean, like, what if we were having a conversation and instead of calling you Kenric, I called you Carl the whole time? You know, it's like, it's not the end of the world to me or to you, but it's fucking shitty. And if everybody that you ever introduced yourself to was like, hey, Carl, you're like, fuck you, dude. That's not my fucking name. Like, that's the thing about it. And, you know, the best thing I ever heard in my entire life regarding trans people, I saw the other day. And it was like, if we can, as humans, as children, and as a generation of young adult males accept the fact that Charmander becomes Charizard, you can accept when Charles becomes Jeanette. Like
you pulled out the Pokemon card. That's hilarious.
Literally and figuratively, yeah. But honestly, you know, it's like why do people
I played
get
with
so
Transformers
mad?
as a kid. Yeah. That wasn't just a gun. It was a robot.
Right.
So what's the difference?
Exactly. Like it's somebody becoming who they really want to be. So that's kind of what I want to do on the podcast is like I don't pretend to have every single piece of vocabulary down for this new world that we're embarking upon. I don't pretend to have, you know, the best point of view or every perspective, you know, and understand everything. But I think I'm a good person to kind of be between people like my father and his generation, or even people of our generation who are kind of still fucking up and say we could just continue, but we're going to re-record it, but it's hard and it's a battle you fight in your mind. And kind of the people who are like, I just want to walk out of my house and not get harassed, you know? I just want to walk out wearing what I want to walk out in.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people that don't get that, what you just said. Like, well, what's the big deal? So I called her she or her. And it's like, well, it gets to the point where they're being harassed. They can't even, you know, leaving the house becomes an ordeal.
Right.
And imagine you secure in your skin because you are a typical male walking down the street. You don't think about people harassing you because it doesn't happen.
Right.
But if you can't even go a few feet, like my buddy, he goes down out the street, and just because people perceive him as gay, he's gotten beat up multiple times.
Right.
And he's had to move out of 2 different neighborhoods because he doesn't make a lot of money. And so he's in a poorer neighborhood, and it just tends to be, I don't know, for lack of a better term, let's be a little blunt, less understanding of the gay culture in a poorer neighborhood.
For sure.
I guess that's the best way to put it. And, you know, that sucks. You know, he's like, I can't leave my house. You know, I don't feel like I want to leave my house today because I don't want to deal with my neighbor that has him and his buddies sitting outside.
Yeah.
Because I know when I walk by, they're going to fuck with me.
Exactly. Waiting to do something horrible.
It's like, what the fuck, man? It's like that 10-year-old in elementary school that's getting bullied every day.
Yeah. Well, and you know, it's shitty because like the more of these fucking societal labels, like really, we don't need these labels. Like I would not need you guys to call me a female if it wasn't to make other people more comfortable. Like I don't walk out of the house and you know declare all of my labels to the world.
Right. It's
only when people start to be like, why are you not normal? If you're normal, you can just be under the guise of normal. But if you're not normal, then you have to have 8 million labels to describe you. And people just get mad that you have 8 million labels because it's more work for them to do. But it's like, I'm only doing this work for you because you're just mad I'm not like you. I'm just trying to show you that I am like you. I'm just a fucking person. I just have things that I disagree with and that you do. But you could do it for you. I just want to do it. Ooh, shit, I hit my windscreen. You can do it for you. I just want to, do this for me. Just like leave me alone. I'm not mad at you because you live a dumb fucking boring life and you wear a button-up polo every goddamn day tucked into your khakis. Like, am I calling you shit on the street? No. Go live your best life.
T-shirt and Levi's today.
I have no hate for khaki bros,
That's so funny.
Yeah.
It's totally true though. And when it comes down to it, when you're outside in public, the labels don't fucking matter. The only time it matters that someone knows you're a male or a female is when the doctor is going to perform surgery on you.
Yeah, and
that's the only time I really care if someone goes, oh, make sure that, you get the right blood on that transfusion.
Yeah, honestly, I don't even know my blood type, and I don't think, that
I don't know mine either.
Into it. Yeah. I honestly think the only time your genitals ever matter, like medical even aside, I honestly don't even think that matters because there's a way, where there's a will, there's a way, they'll figure it out. But I think the only time your genitals matter is when you're embarking upon a sexual experience with somebody that's consensual and you have the conversation first. You're like, listen, this is what I got going on down there. If you're not into it, have a nice day. Somebody else will be, like,
this is what I got. This is what I use. This is what I like.
Yeah.
What do you do?
And even there's even women with like endometriosis who have a vagina, they identify as she, and can't have sex. They physically cannot. They physically cannot have sex. And that's still a conversation you have to have with people, or like men who have erectile dysfunction and literally can't get it up. Like that's not a joke.
They still want a relationship. They still want to be needed and feel that connection.
And a sexual relationship too. Like the fact that these people can't or don't want to because of pain, like have penetrative sex, it doesn't mean that they shouldn't or don't want to have a sex life either. Like I think we live in this world of binary. It's like normal, weird, male, woman, gay, straight, black, white, and it's like if we just had the ability to wrap our minds around the fact that like not everything has to have an answer.
That just snapped for me.
Yeah.
Because I've heard non-binary, but it never snapped what they were trying to say by non-binary.
Yeah.
And the fact that you just put it in that context, I was like, oh shit, that just totally snapped into place.
Yeah, because like honestly, the gender binary was really like put into place with all of these policies, and it just like got cemented further and further. Like the gender binary started with the fact that like women make babies and men don't. Like that's fine, but that's more of a biological thing because there are plenty of women who can't make babies.
That's true.
And then there's this idea of what we wear. Dresses and high heels and makeup were invented all for men. Every single one of those things were invented for men. The men who created our country.
Really?
Yes. The men who created our country, George fucking Washington, wore makeup. George Washington
all the time.
wore makeup.
Yeah.
They wore powdered wigs. They wore high heels. Look in any of those historical paintings, they were wearing high heels.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, so that's cool.
It's just the idea that like, honestly, as fucking hippy dippy motherfucker as this shit's gonna sound, like it's all just stupid ass fucking marketing tactics. And in 1970 something, I don't know the year off the top of my head, there was a huge article about how men should wear blue and women should wear pink. And the reason why they did that was because these clothing companies were upset that women were not going out to the store and buying new clothes for their children when they had a flock of 4, 5, 6 children. Because clothes were white or whatever color you wanted. And traditionally, pink was actually not marketed at any child, and blue was marketed towards girls. So what they did was make this binary of color, so that way you were forced to buy new products if you had a baby of a different gender. When I identify my daughter
as a girl, I'm going to buy pink.
Right. Because you were forced to fit into this, binary of color.
That's forced its way down to even like people having their reveal parties for their kids, right? And you cut the cake and it's blue. Oh, we're having a boy.
That pisses me off so much,
pink. Oh, we're having a girl. Yeah. I can imagine. I mean, if you're going through and trying to get people to understand this message that you're giving out, I would see that that's a big I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. That's not a conflict, but that's like, it's kind of bullshit.
Yeah. To me, it's like, first of all, just the fact that you accept that, which, listen, if people want to put their kids in pink, I have 10 nieces and nephews. You think I never bought a fucking pink thing for any of those children or a blue thing for any of those children?
Right.
I don't create them. I don't create these rules or what these kids like. Like, I'm going to do what they like and try to steer them in the right direction along the way. But, I'm not going to be like, no, you can't wear pink. It's a construct that was made by the government. I'm not going to be that person. That's crazy.
Right.
But, I do think, like, first of all, if you're going to be buying into this, you're forcing an ideology on your child that's based off of marketing standards. Like, somebody stood in a room, fucking Mad Men style, with a pointer at a board and was like, let's do this to make more money. And
right.
like you're impressing
boys
that
like
upon
dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Boys like guns. Boys like trucks.
Right. Like you're impressing that upon your child before they're even born. So if they're a girl, you're inherently limiting their mechanical and their engineering and their mathematical ideologies before they're even out of your fucking vagina, like, or your stomach, whatever, if you have a C-section. But the point is like, just let these kids be fucking kids. Like, if that kid wants to put a fucking pot on their head and smash it with a spoon, I don't care if they have a dick or a vagina. I'm going to think it's funny and take a video of it. And, like, it's going to, be there in my phone forever and probably never go anywhere.
Create issues within your kids. Like, I would think that if your kid goes out and say he's a little boy and he goes in his mom's closet and pulls out bras and pulls out a dress and puts it on and you freak out about it, at that point, you're instigating psychosis.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you're starting to create problems within this kid's head. Like, I did something wrong. Like, this is wrong.
Absolutely.
And like, why would you do that?
I mean,
like, it shouldn't
when I
really
was younger,
matter.
my dad used to squeeze my muffin top and be like, "Oh, you got to stop eating white bread and white sugar. The boys aren't going to like you." Meanwhile, my two nephews, one of them is very slender and tall, and one of them is 3 years old, and he's very, very chubby. And they're both adorable and super cute and very healthy. And my dad doesn't say anything about this baby, and his fat. Right. It's just like, oh yeah, he's like a little stocky football player. He's going to be a linebacker. It's like, no, that's probably not the case, but we automatically associate so many negative ideologies that come from these outside sources on our children. And honestly, like, we sexualize our children so young, which is super fucking creepy. Like, every time I see a little kid in the mall with a shirt that says like chick magnet, like, first of all, that kid might not like girls. Second of all, you're making him super rapey at the age of 4. Like, trust me, I'm a chick, not interested.
Rapey.
So it's like, just leave it be. Like,
well, it's like those pageants.
Yeah.
For girls, it's like, whoa, why are you doing this to them?
Yeah, it's. I struggled a lot with those beauty pageants because I can't say I've always been as...
They glorify them.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like, I don't think I've always been as well-rounded and, kind of, for lack of better terms, I fucking hate this word, but as the outside world would call it, woke, as I am currently. But I had a best friend when I was really young, from like 8 to 20 years old. And, for a good 5 or 7 years, she did pageants. And she was my best friend. I went to every fucking pageant that she went to. I helped her pick out all her dresses. I tucked in her titties. I sprayed her legs for her. Like, I did it all.
Right.
Because I was supporting her. But, to be honest, that person has a very bad mental health history. And that person had also, after the pageants, a history of drug abuse and, sex and love addiction and all these other issues that it's a clear indication of it, and like the most
my co-host put his kid through a pageant because she wanted to, right? I mean, his little girl is all about
princesses and stuff.
Well, not so much princesses and stuff. I mean, she likes that kind of stuff, and she likes superheroes and like Wonder Woman and all that kind of stuff. But she's very much like I can easily see her becoming an actress.
She likes the limelight.
She likes the limelight. She's very much into that and putting on. That's the word I'm looking for. I'm having a bad time today. Coming up with the words in my brain out to my mouth.
Yeah.
But she likes to
Does she like to be like all dolled up and like,
I think she does. She likes to perform. She likes to do all of that kind of stuff. And when she got onto those stages, the people were like, oh, that she won every single thing she's done because she just has a magnetic personality about her. You know what I mean? And then she did the rodeo queen thing and all that kind of stuff. But Johnny and his wife, he's married to my niece. Oh. Johnny and his wife and my niece, I don't know, whatever. Anyways, they didn't force her to do that.
Right.
You know what I mean? They didn't ask her, do you want to do this? They didn't say you have to do this or anything like that. She just wanted to do it.
Right.
And so they're like, okay, let's go do it. I don't think she's so much into it now. I think she's doing more like gymnastics and stuff like that for the the sport and for the health.
But, I think that's a hard thing, and it's something that people always ask me, when do I want to have kids? I'm the youngest of four. I'm the youngest sister, of four. Oh wow, two are step siblings, so I can't take credit for their genetics, but the oldest one is in her late 40s and I'm 24. So my family, my dad was married when he was 18, like they're ready to be married right there. Yeah. They're ready to be, having grandchildren for me. And I'm like, I need to get my career, my financial
I gotta
status.
Live a little bit.
Exactly. So I'm definitely waiting, and I probably will wait until very
late. And who knows?
Late.
You might decide that ain't for me.
Right, exactly. I definitely want to have children in my mindset now in life. How I'm perceiving the rest of my life to be, but I know it's going to be much later than people's normal standards are, because I kind of struggle with those things in my mind. And I'm definitely of the mindset where I hope when I'm a parent, if my kid wants to be in a pageant, I'm financially capable of creating a new pageant. I want to be that person that's let's create a new pageant I already started thinking of this when you said that. Okay, if she wants to do this, let's do it in a way that's safe and super fucking educational and rewarding. Let's create a pageant with best science experiment, best outfit that you picked yourself from someone else's closet, fun, crazy creative stuff where it's not
keep it fun.
Yeah, there are so many ways. I think it's a really healthy thing for kids to seek attention because they kind of learn through that process. It's not great when they seek negative attention or they seek constant attention, but it is good for kids to work towards something and then be rewarded for it. That's a great mindset to be in and to learn from. So as long as they can do it in a safe environment, I'm totally down for that. But I just am not. It's not okay to honestly sexualize little kids and put them in glittery dresses with tube tops and shit. It's
it's weird.
God.
I saw that stuff on TV and I couldn't even watch it. I was like, this is disgusting.
Yeah. And speaking of TV, I honestly don't know about you, and I don't hate on anybody who does this, but I cannot watch reality TV. My life was hard as a little kid. I'm not trying to live in anxiety any longer.
Yeah, right. The only reality TV I like to watch is cooking challenges.
Oh, that's okay. I feel like that's not reality TV, but I guess
all those
it is, but
housewife ones and all that kind of stuff, I can't watch that. It's because one, it's just they're so vapid, and I just can't. I can't handle people like that in my life because I am not a negative person by just. Naturally,
right.
I'm not a negative person, and I don't like having negativity around me because I think you can choose to be positive and good things will come from that.
Truly.
I don't think you have to be, I hate it when people go, well, I just keep it real. You're not keeping it real. You're being a fucking dick is what you're being. You're not keeping it real. And, now instead of, well, let's positively think of how we're interacting and what's the next step to get over this hurdle that we've come across? Instead of saying, oh, the world is ending because we can't get through this. I don't need that in my life. And I've just kind of lost track of what I was saying.
No, I totally respect you for saying that and appreciate that idea too, because people kind of can misconstrue keeping it real with.
Yeah. Keeping it real is one thing. Hey, I'm dying of cancer and I got to get my affairs in order.
Right.
Because I'm not going to make it 6 months. Unless they come up with a miracle cure.
Right.
I can hope for that, but the reality is this. That I get. But just to be a dick because you want to be a dick is just not I don't need that in my life. And now let's bring it back around because I remember watching those reality shows where they create conflict just to create conflict.
Right.
And those people on the show go, I want to be famous, so I'm going to be the biggest dick here.
Right.
Because then people will be talking about me. And it's you're becoming infamous, and that's what you want? Because infamy shouldn't be something you strive for.
Right.
you know?
Well, honestly,
you're not offering anything.
Yeah. You're not contributing to society, to, art, to culture with this television show. That's actually, honestly, why I started Supernormal. So, like, I don't share my daytime stuff, my job stuff too much, because I do like to keep, like, my work life and my podcast life separately, because this is a little bit more out there than a lot of people would accept in the work world. But I do have a background in TV and radio, and I was working at a very big TV company at the time of me starting Supernormal. So basically, I was working for one of those TV companies that they have 3 letters, and they treated people absolutely horribly. And
FML, fuck my life.
Yeah, pretty much. I was saying FML, they were saying something else. It rhymes with shmen, shmee, shmee. And so when I was working there,
the Give Me Money broadcast network?
Yeah, exactly. I was, working 60 hours a week. I was getting paid about $500 a week. I was doing a job that was 2 positions over what I was titled, and they knew that, and they told me that they wouldn't give me a title bump because they didn't want to make me union and pay for my union dues.
Full on taking advantage.
Yeah, for sure. I literally put blood, sweat, and tears into this job to the point where I had to leave and go to urgent care multiple times during my job because I got like urinary tract infections from them not letting me pee. I got heat exhaustion, like crazy, crazy stuff. And at the same time, I'm dealing with an autoimmune disease that I was misdiagnosed / undiagnosed with for 10 years. So I was like really to the brink of, exhaustion, depression, anxiety, constant 24 hours a day. I would wake up at 5 o'clock to go to this job. I wouldn't get home until 11 p.m. And they would be texting me constantly, emailing me all through the night. And I got nothing from this job. Like, this job was so not only spiritually and emotionally draining, but they were hurting people with the content that they were creating. I honestly felt that. And I felt that they were, truly exploiting people, because you heard them say like, well, look at this fat bitch, or like, this lady's not black enough, or this dude's not gay enough. Like, we need to recast
that's crazy.
This. Yeah, and it was like a regular show. Like, it wasn't even a reality show. It was a talk show. But it was still very much like, I don't like that idea. Like, that's too gauche. Like, we need people that are better, but like lower quality, because that's what people like in the ratings. Like, it was very much of that. And I truly got to the point where I was like, first of all, physically, my health, I don't think I could exist working here much longer. Like, I will fucking die. Then it got to the point of like, but what do I want to do with my life and myself? I was like, okay, I literally quit. When the season was done, because I'm also not selfish, so I can't like leave people hanging, even though they treat me like shit. And they made me like, I could go on forever about how horrible they were. But anyways, so I quit. I went for 6 months. I went on unemployment. I did my best to like freelance when I could. And obviously I didn't take unemployment when I was freelancing, in case any asshole is going to say that I did. I did not.
Oh, fuck them. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. And then I, created Supernormal as like my little baby. And I was like, okay,
that's awesome.
Maybe I'll get like 10 episodes before I quit. Like, I'm a big quitter. I always am like, this isn't going to go anywhere. Stop wasting your time. You're killing yourself. Just quit. So I was like, okay, I'll get to like 10 episodes and I'll quit. And then I got to like episode 11 and I was like, okay, I'm still doing this. And I got to like episode 15 and I was like, okay, fuck. Then I got to like
I'm still
episode
here.
20 and it was like December. And I was like, okay, I guess this is like a thing now. Like, people are actually like coming on and doing this. This is a thing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and it got to the point where I'm like, I can't stop this now, because people are telling me like I changed their life, which is fucking nuts. Like, even
isn't it weird when you get that kind of email, or you get that tweet, or somebody going, "Oh my God, you made such a difference on my outlook and what I'm viewing and what how I think of things." We've gotten those, and it just blows my mind. It's like I don't even know what to say to that.
Yeah, immense gratitude.
Yeah, and
thank
you. But at the same time,
are you sure you're okay? Like, do you need to go to a doctor?
Yeah, why are you listening to me, man?
Right. No, but that's beautiful, because honestly, like, the impact that you can make on the world, I truly, as corny as it fucking sounds, like, if you are doing something that has changed somebody's mind that you believe is for the better, that's that's fucking nuts. Like, that's the craziest thing that you can do to a human is reshape their brain. And I had a non-binary sex worker guest on once, and they said to me, every person that I meet every single day, I'm constantly rewiring my brain. And that to me is what we should all be doing. Is like, as a child, you're an empty vessel. You can take a baby that was just born, put them in a fucking cave, come back in 18 years. They're not going to know English. They're not going to know societal norms. They're not going to know who they should and shouldn't fuck. They're not going to know that, pink means this and blue means that, and you can't wear a lipstick if you have a beard. They'll know none of that. They're just going to be curious and touch everything that you put in front of them. And then they'll rewire their brain with what they like, what they don't like, what hurts them, what doesn't hurt them, what food is spicy and they shouldn't eat it, Yeah,
they're going to rewire it based on what is
presented to them. So that's what we should be doing.
Shouted at them.
Right. That's what we should be doing. And as podcast hosts, I hope, that I think the work that we're doing is delivering information to people to help them choose what is going to better their life if they rewire their brain.
That's awesome. When did you start? What was your birthday?
July 24th, I believe. July 24th or 27th.
Oh, see, ours was born July 3rd.
Oh, so we're like almost twinsies.
Yeah.
What does that make us both like? Crazy. I don't know any of the zodiac signs besides mine.
I don't know, man.
We're like Leos. I don't know. I guess technically we'd be two different things.
I'm a Leo in real life.
Oh, that's fun. Okay.
I don't know if it means anything.
I don't know what time of year that is, but I just associate that with the summer.
August.
Oh, I'm fucking wrong. wrong.
It's like late July to like late August.
Okay, so
like
I would be
sure.
my podcast would be a Leo then, the 20-something.
Nice. Yeah, ours is like before.
Don't know what that one is.
Something else. I don't know what it is. I only know mine. It's just like, and I think like I took astronomy 101 right in college, and the teacher was like Mr. Art Goss. He was a great guy. He was like, all the stars that when all your signs were developed was based on the star formation that is prominent in the sky during that time of the year.
Yeah.
Well, because the Earth wobbles, everything is actually off.
Right.
And so it's been like, 2,000 years or whatever that they've had these dates set for Leo and Cancer and Aquarius, but that's all off actually.
Right. Yeah, it's like technically I'm a Sagittarius now. It's like, fuck you, bitch. I ain't no dumbass Sagittarius. Eat a dick.
Yeah, technically I'm a Cancer, and I'm like,
I die, man.
I don't want to be a Cancer,
no.
And then on top of that, it's a crab as a.
Oh, that's horrible.
So I'm like, I'm two diseases. Come
You're
on.
You're the crabs. I'm the virgin. It's terrible. They're all bad. Two diseases. That's great.
Let's get together and create Cancer.
Yeah,
like,
perfect. Yeah, that's just really bad. It's so bad. Yeah,
well, man. Well, thanks for coming on. This has been awesome.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
It's been 30 minutes. I might cut this down to be like a
for sure
5 or 6 minute thing. So I want to make sure that you understand.
Yes.
But I kind of want to release this as its own thing too, because we had a great conversation, and I don't want to take it away.
My words are yours.
If you want to come back on sometime, because we're trying to put a panel together, because we generally do pop culture, like mostly comic books and comic book movies, and then
as long as they're Marvel, not DC.
So we do both.
That's okay.
we do it all.
I dabble.
But well, Johnny, my co-host, loves DC, and I'm more of a Marvel guy, so it's kind of funny. Because his dad was a big comic book collector, and so he's had a whole life of comic books.
What's his favorite superhero? Was it like fucking Green Lantern?
No, it's full on Superman. I told him Superman was a bully. Superman was a bully, and we literally had to turn off the podcast and talk about it because he was so pissed off, and triggered. I made him so mad, and he felt like it was a total trigger, and he felt like I had put him in a corner that he couldn't get out of.
Oh well, because Superman sucks.
Yeah, and he was just like, wow, and then it was kind of funny.
I mean, Superman's an alien, so it's just different. It's just so different to me.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. I mean, now it's funny. At the time, I felt bad because he really was really upset.
At the time, it was damaging to your friendship.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't want you to be, I got you in a corner. That wasn't my purpose.
Yeah. Well, I would love to come on anytime.
We want to have this. We want to do a panel episode because there's been a lot with the sexual harassment revelation, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
There's been a lot in the comic book industry because it's been a male-dominated industry for a really long time.
Oh, for sure. And Wonder Woman's entire history was.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
And now there's all these amazing artists and writers that are coming out and talking about the issues they've had with editors, like at Marvel and like at DC and all that kind of stuff. So we want to do a panel of just women,
Totally.
talking about all the stuff that they've done. And it might be fun to have you on as an outside person talking.
I would love that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Cool.
I'll give my input on my comic book stuff when it's relevant, but I will keep it. I'll keep my Superman bashing to a minimum. I promise.
I love it.
I won't let him
I love
know.
you even more now because of that.
Thank you.
Where can they hear you? Where can we hear you at?
So you can listen to Supernormal on all the podcast apps, specifically, preferably iTunes, and leave a review while you're there. But we're also on iHeart, TuneIn, Stitcher, the whole gamut. And then you can also listen at supernormalpodcast.com.
Cool. And then the last question I have, and I'm asking everybody this, if I've never listened to your podcast before, what is an episode that is a good entry for somebody to go to besides just like the last one? You know what I mean? Like maybe one that's your favorite, like, hey, I really like the way this one turned out. Or,
Right. That's a difficult one.
Yeah. Maybe it is the last one, or maybe it's the first one.
It's probably not the last one, but they're also good. The last one is very specific. So I'm trying to find one that's more, I really enjoyed episode 22. So episode 22 is a couple. It's the first time I ever had two people together on the podcast that were actually recorded at the same time that knew each other. And I kind of went into the episode having no idea what it would be. But it is first half a man named Aaron, and Aaron works for a screen printer. He runs a company called Queer & Co. And he is married to, I'm trying to remember his actual name. Hold on.
I can edit.
Yes, hold on. I
love your website.
Thank you. Okay.
That's really cool.
So, Aaron is married to Seth. So Seth is Seth by day, and the reason why it took me so long to figure out his name is because Seth goes by Kalana at night. So Seth is a drag queen, and Aaron and Seth live in Auburn, Alabama. So they are not very accepting down in Auburn, Alabama of queer culture or drag culture. And Seth by day is a music teacher in the richest neighborhood of Auburn, Alabama. And by night, he is a drag queen. So he kind of discusses how he comes into character, Aaron's acceptance, because at first Aaron did not want Kalana to exist. Aaron did not want Seth to be in drag. Aaron thought that meant that Seth wanted to be a woman. He didn't really understand it. So you really get to see Seth's, transformation into Kalana. And then his also, he kind of was depressed and was dealing with this serious depressive time in his life, and Kalana kind of helped grab him out of that and come into his own, and he's so much happier as a human even as Seth in the day. It helped Aaron grow as well, because now he's going to all of his husband's drag shows. He's his biggest fan. He started Queer & Co., which is his shirt and clothing company, just to support Seth and just to be there for Kalana. And he actually now has a whole Instagram handle just called Drag Husband, where it's dedicated to him taking sassy pictures of Seth dressed as Kalana. So it's a really interesting, transformative experience for this couple. And you kind of get to see it from their perspective and both sides of it as well.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. Okay, well, perfect. Well, thanks so Let me rewind that. Thanks so much for coming on.
No problem.
I really appreciate it. Oh, and we're back.
yeah, that was cool. That's cool, man.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm excited to have her on. I want to be in that conversation. There's so many times where I'm like, I have something to say right here, but I can't.
When she says she's not a fan of Superman.
What's funny you say that, because when I messaged her for the graphic for the PSB, the first thing I said was, "Hey Sam, this is John, the other guy on Spoiler Country. By the way, Superman's awesome. Can I get a graphic?"
She's like, he's an alien. It's just weird.
Yeah. So no, I would love to have that debate with her and you, because it's fun, you know.
I told her about the Superman argument, and she started laughing. I said, "Look, we had to turn off." I mean,
I kind of wish we would have been recording and kept that out just to listen to it again. But in some ways, I'm glad it's not there. But well, it was a fun time.
You know, yeah. The thing that came out of that was I didn't realize the position I had put you in, and I felt kind of bad when you're like, "Oh, right. I feel like I'm in a corner," and you're beating up on me.
We came out of it better, which is awesome.
Yeah, it was like body blow, uppercut. No,
right.
No, she's going to be a lot of fun to have on later on, and I'm excited.
Oh yeah,
we got some things that we're trying to get together, and if we can just figure out how to do a certain style of recording, we have some really fun stuff that we're trying to get done. And so,
yes, we do.
And she's going to be a big part of that when that happens. So we're really excited to actually be able to call her a friend now and have her on, and hopefully maybe we'll get a chance to be on hers, and we'll get everything going. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome, as always. So everything we do is awesome, in my opinion.
Yeah,
so.
Everything we do is awesome. Everything is
we are awesome.
So anyways.
Everything is cool.
Johnny.
Yeah.
Tell the people where they can hear us and how they can get a hold of us.
Well, right now, if you're standing outside of the shed that I'm in, you can hear me talking right now. But in general, you can hear us
That's the redneck
anywhere
studio.
podcasts go. Right? Well, as you know, everybody listening, I just moved and we're still unpacking, and we moved into a tiny place, but there's a shed outside. So I have to go out to the shed to record because I can't do it in the house right now because there's too many kids making noise. But you can hear us everywhere podcasts go: iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, anywhere is where you can hear us. It's all, we're everywhere. Just search for Spoiler Country, you're going to find us. We can talk on Instagram, you can talk on Facebook, you can email us at spoilercountry@gmail.com. We have a website called spoilercountrypod.com, which I've currently been working on updating and making faster and more user-friendly, so check it out. And if you feel like it, shoot us an email and let me know how it looks or how it's running for you, because I'm very curious on if what I'm doing is making a difference.
There you go. And there it is. I think that's a show.
Yeah, that's the show for today. So hopefully you enjoyed it. Check out Sam's podcast. Go let her know you found her through us. If you do, if you like it, let her know. If you like it, let us know. I'm curious to know.
Yeah, give everybody 5-star reviews. Just go ahead and do that.
Yeah, 5 stars all around.
All right, guys. Don't forget, open your mind and read more.
See ya.